S&P. What's up?
Yeah. Well, guess what? Here's one of the beauties of working from home is the old internet outage. And so, I am literally out in the cold, both from a standpoint of Wi-Fi and here at my house with the mountains behind me. It's been snowing in Colorado, but as always, it snows. It gives you 5-6 inches of snow, and then the sun comes out and blasts it into oblivion the next day. So here we are.
Here we are. All right.
Yeah.
Paul Caputo, Deputy Director of NAI, ladies and gentlemen. And
I'm NAI Deputy Director Paul Caputo, and outside. Yeah.
Outside. Well,
in the cold.
Warm and cozy here in Salt Lake City, in my home studio. Songstop, NAI events and engagement, unicorn, ninja, whatever. Anyway, Paul, we do have some regional workshops are picking up. Registrations are open, so everybody go figure out your region and check out what they are offering. Most everybody's doing something online.
I was just gonna say, it is regional workshop season.
Yes, it is.
And it's one of my favorite times of year. I mean, obviously this year we don't get to travel to the regional workshops, which is sad because that's one of my favorite things in the whole world. But you can't beat regional workshop season.
It's almost as exciting as baseball season.
Well, I was going to say too, the international conference is always great. And then of course the NAI national conference, all of those things are great. Any opportunity to get together with interpreters and NAI members. It's been one of my favorite things about working for NAI is all the many occasions we have to get together with our members and these people doing amazing work in the field.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, it's the last week to register for the International Forum for Interpretation in the Americas. February 5th, Friday, is the last day to register. So go to this URL and get registered. We have an amazing lineup. You can check out all of the presenters and their session descriptions there. We do have some of them joining us in our home studios and outside studio to kind of give us an overview of what to expect at the forum. So really excited about that. And not only are we getting amazing training and education and insight for what other interpreters are doing, we also have super fun networking afternoon sessions. And hold on, wait for it.
Oh,
I've got.
What's this going to be?
Well, this is more like a fascinator. It's the only sombrero I have.
It's a sombrero for ants.
Yeah, and look, I am ready. I am so ready. This is my molcajete that I brought back from Mexico. It's really heavy. I'm kind of getting a workout right here.
That looks heavy duty, absolutely.
Yeah, look, it's cute little piggy on the front.
It's pretty amazing.
Because I heard that we get to have a live guacamole demonstration from our friends in Mexico.
This is going to be amazing.
I'm ready.
Speaking of our friends from Mexico, this is an event unlike any other that NAI has been a part of. We're partnering with not 2, not 3, not 5, but 4 international interpretation associations in North America. We have our friends from Interpretation Canada and the Interpretive Guides Association, also in Canada, and our brand new friends who just celebrated their first year in existence with Interpat MX. And we'll talk to Antonieta later on in this episode.
Yep. Also under the entire umbrella of the Global Alliance for Heritage Interpretation. So I guess technically 5. With that said, let's start with our good friend Tony in Mexico. Hey, Tony.
I think I'm going to go inside while we talk to all of our great guests, and then I'll see you back out here at the end of the broadcast.
Well, Paul, as you know, we've been working diligently with our partners on the International Forum for Interpretation in the Americas, and we've got one of our partners here, Antonieta Jiménez from the newly formed Interpat MX. And Tony, why don't you tell us a little bit about your organization and what you're hoping to accomplish with this forum?
Well, thank you for inviting us to Interpat MX to participate in this forum. We are really excited, and we have been working since some number of years to get organized and to launch Interpat MX. And we finally did it about 1 year ago. So now we are starting starting to increase our number of members, which is very exciting for us. For the first time, we have people from different countries too, obviously not only Mexico, but our main interest is to make interpretation a more visible profession. And so we are connecting to interpreters from Mexico and from overseas. And we have been working with very interesting people in our research seminar. And now we're having a coffee evening for interpreters, which you can see on Facebook once every 2 months. So we are doing some research too, because most of us on the board are academics and the people we are related to. But we want to make this profession obviously more reachable to the people who doesn't even know that it exists. So for that reason, this forum comes just like perfect, because just now we have been in touch with people from our local governments, and they are willing to know what is this all about. So for us, it's just a great experience to learn and to listen to our colleagues from Canada, from the US. It's very exciting. You have so much experience, and we always acknowledge to be so kind and sharing it with us. So this is it. We are really working hard and trying to make this community as bigger as we can.
When you were forming, well, before you were forming Interpat MX, I have fond memories of you came to visit NAI in Colorado, and you shadowed our organization and met with all the staff. And I remember you and Margot Carlock, our then executive director, and we we had a lot of meetings and just talked about the nature of running a nonprofit interpretation association. And so you all have been hard at work on getting Interpat MX off the ground for a long time, and it's great to see those efforts really paying off, and to see you all growing in Mexico. It's very exciting.
Well, we decided to knock on your door. We were very intimidated by your experience, but we said, well, let's go and ask for advice, because you have all the experience with teaching people to make interpretation, and we really recognize all that background of you. So we are really thankful for all the support I remember I was there for almost a week, and I visited each of your departments, internal departments, and you showed me your reports, your procedures and stuff, and that's really inspiring to start, obviously, as a new organization, and but we are very thankful for that. And we are hoping to keep this relationship in the future.
Well, we're working together on this conference, and definitely there's a bright future ahead for our two organizations. Absolutely. So, but you're not just an organizing partner on this conference; you are a presenter during one of the sessions. Can you tell us about what you're going to be presenting on?
Well, the previous question I have always had, it's how can we connect people who go to archaeological sites to these subjects and monuments, and a question has been pursuing me for years. I'm an anthropologist, I'm an archaeologist, and I'm interpreter. So a mix of all of this is on this conference and on this paper. What I see, it's a possibility to relate to what I've been calling cultural interpretation as the art of introducing people to other people, just like this. So I am willing to introduce ancient people to visitors, and having an anthropological perspective means that I need to know first what cultural values were on the heart and on the minds of ancient people, and bring them to the contemporary people. And that has implied a lot of research in anthropology and a lot of experiments that we're working on right now, and some archaeological sites, talking to archaeologists who are not always the most how to say that, they are not always so involved with the public, and they are most of the times willing to talk about objects and size and measures, and it's kind of an effort. But now I want to present some of our results of the project I've been working on for years. I experienced, I made an experience in a couple of Mexican archaeological sites, and also in Machu Picchu with some archaeologists from there. So this purpose of introducing people to other people, it's what I'm talking about. It's very exciting because most of the people who comes in, it's like saying, hey, this is the Incas, the Inca whose name is whoever the name is. He believes he believes that, and he does this thing for this reason. It's very different perspective to talk about regular data that we have in archaeology, like available data. So it's we're working on research, and that's part of the process as it is in research.
Well, Tony, I don't know when you have time to do these presentations because you are an award-winning, national award winner for your research in community archaeology. You have published 5 books, and like your resume is just like, I would have to scroll through it. You're a professor, tenured professor, researcher. So yes, anybody who's joining the forum, you are so in luck to get to meet Tony and Manuel.
Yeah, definitely check out Interpretation or InterpatMX's website at interpat.mx, and we'll put that, we always do.
And I had to add that InterpatMX wouldn't be existing if it wasn't for the work that Manuel Gándara has done for years on heritage interpretation institutionally. So most of us are part of the students who learned something with him, and we are still doing so. Thank you to Manuel. He's our president on Interpat MX, and also the members of the board have been working very hard on this forum. Thank you to all of them.
I have to say, in 2017, Antonieta and Manuel invited me to speak at an event at Manuel's University in Mexico City. And Sam Ham was there as well. And man, they put on the dog. It was amazing. We had such a spectacular time seeing Mexico City and some of the archaeological sites outside of the city. Just stunning and beautiful and amazing. And I got to watch the entirety of the 2017 World Series, where the cheating Houston Astros beat the Los Angeles Dodgers, in a bar with Sam and Tony and Manuel. And the entire broadcast was in Spanish, and it was just that was a formative experience in my career right there. It was really amazing to share that week with you all in the very, very early days before Interpat MX was even formed.
Tony, thank you so much for your time, and we will see you in just a few days at the forum.
Yeah, thank you so much. Muchísimas gracias. Por favor, regístrense. El evento va a estar increíble, lo puedo asegurar. Muchas gracias a todos.
Muchas gracias. So Paul, we have, a slew of presenters for the forum, but one in particular is our keynote, Ted Cable.
Ted is, first of all, I have to say, Ted is a longtime friend, and he is one of the giants in interpretation. His book right now, Gifts of Interpretation, is just used everywhere in universities, and it's one of the most widely recognized books in the field. And Ted's going to be our keynote speaker. And so we're super excited to have Ted. Let's bring in Ted right now. All right. Thank you, Ted, for being here. I have to say, before we get started talking about your keynote presentation, The Healing Principle, I need to tell Song the story that I was sitting here in my office one day and a package shows up, and the package just has a little note, and it's from Ted, and it just says, "Do you know this team?" And Ted knows as well as anyone, because Ted and I have long talked about baseball. Over the many years, we've talked a lot about baseball, and this baseball cap shows up. And, me being me, I of course recognized the Daytona Tortugas, a minor league baseball team in Florida, that Ted has a connection to. And so Ted, knowing that I love minor league baseball, sent me this baseball cap that I have had for years since then. It's one of my absolute favorites. And I love this logo. Look how cool this logo is, the Daytona Tortugas. So Ted, thank you for being here. And thank you again for the baseball cap that I wear all the time.
You're very welcome, and it's my pleasure to be here, and I'm really honored to be a part of this forum.
Yeah, well, Ted, your keynote is titled The Healing Principle. And can you tell us why you chose that title and what attendees can expect to hear you speak about on your keynote?
Yeah, sure, I'd be happy to. Over the years, whenever I've had the opportunity to speak about interpretation, it's always been my mission to elevate the profession in the minds of the audience, and to really emphasize that it's really a significant profession. It's a noble profession, and it's not trivial. And I guess this comes from a sense that I've had, especially early in my career. Things may have changed a bit now, but where interpretation wasn't really appreciated for its power, really, the power that it has to affect change. And so I always want to try to differentiate interpretation from what our friend Jay Miller refers to as pet the bunny programs, which are sort of trivial little programs that you might have in a park or a zoo or a museum. And so that's always been my goal, to say that this is serious. It's not just icing on the cake. It's not trivial. It's really an important factor, really, in terms of community health, and it really has the power to change lives every day. So that's my broad mission. And so this forum then now has presented me with another opportunity to try to do that, to try to make that point. And given what's transpired with the pandemic, and then also with the various social issues that we've been facing during 2020, and in fact, the forum in its description, it says that the forum will be addressing those sorts of issues. I thought it would be appropriate to talk about healing and interpretation's role in healing. I feel that's something that we all need to one degree or another, and to some degree, and whether it's personal healing or healing of communities, I just sensed that was maybe a real salient topic, is the topic of healing, and going back to my premise that interpretation can make powerful changes, and that it is an important tool, an important process for society. I thought this was a wonderful opportunity maybe to just explore interpretation's role in its potential for healing. So that's how I arrived at the topic. And I guess more specifically, when participants listen to my keynote, they'll find that I've tried to address three things: how interpretation can help with healing the body, how it can help with healing the mind, and how it can help with healing the spirit. So body, mind, and spirit. And then I finish really with the idea that for any healing to occur in any of those arenas, that it's really critical to have hope. And so I talk about the idea that interpreters have the opportunity of giving the gift of hope to individuals, and again, to larger groups of people, societies, organizations, agencies, and through giving the gift of hope, they can facilitate healing. So that's what I'll be talking about.
Well, I love that, Ted, and I think you're right. First of all, Paul and I always, we're kind of glib when we say that interpretation is going to change the world, but we firmly believe that. And I do think that, one of the reasons we reached out to you for this keynote is because it really does come at a very important time for everybody. And I think the message, here you on this forum for interpretation in the Americas, it's certainly a global subject as well. So I can't wait for this. You already gave me goosebumps. I'm very much looking forward to it. But Ted, you also have a relationship with some of the folks at Interpat MX. You've worked with Manuel several times.
Right. It's really a wonderful friendship. It started when he invited me to come down there to speak in Mexico City as part of an annual event that he hosts, and I had the privilege of doing that and meeting wonderful people, both in my audience and then also the other professionals that were on the panel and the other speakers from that event. I've had really several lifelong friendships or friendships since that time. It's only been a few years, but I now have, in fact, when NAI was held in, the international conference was held in Wellington, New Zealand, I was able to reconnect with another participant of that conference, and I spoke to her interpretation classes there in Wellington. And so, yeah, it was just such a wonderful, fruitful time down there in Mexico City that I'm forever grateful for that invitation. And I told Manuel that now every time I think of Mexico City or see something about Mexico City in the news, I think of him. He's really become a dear friend. So it was wonderful to get this invitation from him to be a part of this forum.
Well, and you're not a stranger to this role because you were with Larry Beck, your co-author. You were a keynote speaker at our NAI National or our NAI International Conference in France in 2018.
Right. And it's just it's wonderful to have these opportunities, like I say, and it's really my mission to try to again elevate the profession, to remind people of the powerful roles they have to change lives every day. I used to tell my students, sort of as a concluding slide, that we have the wonderful privilege and I think also obligation to change lives every day on our job. And I remember this PowerPoint slide I would often use showed a busload of kids, and I would tell them that you can change lives by the busload, and so yeah, that's the wonderful world that we work in, and the wonderful privilege that we have to be able to go to work every day knowing that we may change somebody's life and that we may provide hope to people. Someone, I thought, alluded to my emphasis on hope. We write about it also in the gifts book, Larry and I do, is being a hope dealer instead of a dope dealer. I'm a hope dealer, so I would I actually like that idea. I hope maybe I am a hope dealer, and I'm happy to do that.
Well, Ted, we look forward to you dealing hope for us. February 9, you're our opening keynote on February 9, right. Tuesday, February 9, which is just around the corner. So thank you so much for being here. And I have more questions for you, but they're all about, situational left-handers and, bunting with whatnot, that sort of thing. So I'll ask those.
I look forward to that conversation as well. So play ball.
Indeed. Thank you, Ted.
All right. Yeah. Bye-bye.
And joining us today, we've got Ryan Finchum, who's one of our presenters at the Forum for the Interpretation in the Americas. And Ryan, you're doing some really awesome work with really bringing in interpretive messaging into communities and how those things can go hand in hand and benefit each other.
Thanks so much. Well, as you mentioned, my name is Ryan Finchum. I'm with the Center for Protected Area Management at Colorado State University, which is essentially a capacity development outreach center that focuses on different kinds of capacity development interventions with park and protected area managers around the world. But we also understand that securing the long-term conservation and protection of our protected areas also requires reaching out well beyond the boundaries of the protected areas and ensuring broad-based participation and engagement with NGOs and different civil society organizations, as well as probably most importantly, the local communities that live in and around the protected areas. And so we do a lot of work with interpretation, both planning from the protected area side, so really working with managers on how they can develop interpretive plans and interpretive products that can help them achieve the objectives of their protected areas, regardless of the category or kind of protected area. But we also do a lot of work within those communities, training guides And I think most importantly, and this is what we're going to be talking about with my colleague, Dr. Christopher Mayer from Ferrum College during the forum, is about how we actually bridge community and protected area with interpretation essentially as the tool that gets both sides together talking and discussing about the future that they want to build. That's both going to create opportunities for long-term biodiversity and protection of environmental services that are housed with and protected within those areas, but also ways for the local communities to be truly engaged, have their voices heard, and really be long-term participants and partners of these protected areas. Interpretation is a fantastic tool for doing that. And so we're really going to be talking about how we strengthen everything that we do in interpretation by ensuring this kind of ongoing participation by local communities and bringing in some case studies from our work in Panama and the Amazon of Brazil, possibly Guatemala or Honduras. And so this forum is excellent actually for us to be able to share a little bit about our work, since so much of our work takes place across the hemisphere.
That's awesome. And so Ryan, tell me, like, what are some of the top takeaways you're hoping that our attendees at the forum will get from you watching your presentation?
Yeah, I mean, I would say first and foremost, we're just going to highlight the process that we use when we do engage in long-term community involvement in our interpretation projects, and some of the richness that we think comes about by doing so. Not only in some of the kind of the clear ways like sustainability, thinking about how to create sustainable interpretive products that use local materials, local artists, local poets, local bioconstructors, but also some of the kind of secret sauce that we have that helps really embed the park in the community and the community in the park. And so without giving away too much, we'll be sharing some of that secret sauce during the forum.
So I have to tell you, by the way, we didn't mention when we introduced Ryan that Ryan won NAI's prestigious President's Award in 2019, 2018,
2019.
2019 for his amazing work serving as a liaison between all of the interested parties and helping coordinate the program for our international conference in Brazil. Ryan was a major player in that, and was actually, it was Ryan who brought the idea of let's do a conference in Brazil to NAI. And then Ryan's co-presenter, Chris, is literally the first NAI member I ever met when I started with NAI now 19 years ago.
Well, we are really looking forward to your session. You're definitely in good company with all of our other presenters. And if you're not registered yet, make sure you register right here.
Please sign up.
All right, and we will see you all at the forum. Well, so a really fun panel and really important topic for our forum for interpretation in the Americas. The closing panel is going to talk about Indigenous tourism and how we can elevate those voices. And joining us is Brenda Holder. Brenda, you are our panel moderator. And again, you've got quite the, everybody we've interviewed has these amazingly extensive resumes. And you're in Alberta, Canada.
Yes, that's correct. Alberta, Canada. Happy to be here.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us. So tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us a little bit about what attendees can expect from this amazing panel.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, a little bit about myself. I am a Métis of Cree Iroquois lineage. I come from the Coraquante lineage out of beautiful Jasper, Alberta in the Canadian Rockies. I have a real passion for interpretation. As an Indigenous person, I love to share my knowledge. And the biggest part of my knowledge sharing comes from the love of my grandmother and her love of medicinal plants. So that is a very big focus on what my company does, Mohican Trails. We love to take people out and enjoy some scenery and learn a little bit about my culture. I am also the chair for the Indigenous Tourism Association of Canada, and I'm also the chair for Indigenous Tourism Alberta. So I was really humbled and honored when I was asked to moderate this panel for Indigenous tourism. I think that Indigenous tourism is such an amazing opportunity for us to gather and share a lot of our cultural knowledge, our traditional knowledge with the non-Indigenous community. This is a wonderful opportunity for us to build some beautiful bridges together and to learn a little bit about each other. And I am so excited about the panelists that we have. I think the discussion is going to be very revealing to all of our conference attendees. And I really hope that we will have a lot of engagement towards the end when we open up for Q&As.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We've had a quick Zoom meeting with the rest of the panelists, and I mean, this is going to be like fully charged, really honest, really insightful, and I am so looking forward to this. What type of like, what do you hope that our attendees are going to walk away with after participating with this panel?
Well, you know, there are so many different facets that I would hope that they would walk away with. And, you know, one of the things I want to just say as a bit of a prequel to that, so to speak, I want to ask the hard questions that people are often a little bit too reticent to ask. So they may feel a little bit shy about asking those hard questions. And I know as an interpreter, as an Indigenous interpreter for many, many years, there have been people who are non-Indigenous who have really formed a great relationship with me, where we have gotten quite close together, and they have asked me those hard questions very shyly to the side. They pull me away, but it's really important to them to understand certain things about Indigenous culture. And because this has happened so many times, I really felt that it was so important for us to ask those hard questions, to give that permission for people to hear that. And in my opinion, I believe that it will help to empower these people to realize that it is okay to reach into the Indigenous community and open those lines of communication. That's one thing that I hope that they will walk away with. The other thing that I hope that they will walk away with is the clear understanding of what it's like to be an Indigenous interpreter, how it's so very different for us. However, how it's so very much the same for all of us, whether you're Indigenous or not. And I really hope that they will take that away truly in their hearts and in their souls. But mostly, what I hope will happen is that they will walk away forever changed, different people.
Well, I love that, and I think you're right. This panel, I believe, again, after getting to meet you all, is very honest, and everybody has the same, same goals with this panel. And what you don't know is what you don't know. So I believe that we are definitely encouraging all of our attendees to, ask you questions in the chat. Hopefully some of these questions will be answered if we don't get to them all, because I can imagine there's going to be a whole bunch of them. And we encourage our attendees to ask those questions because, again, you just don't know what you don't know. So and all the panelists are so amazing, and they want the same thing. So I'm really excited, and I really appreciate you moderating this panel for us and all the work that you do for the profession of interpretation. And we will see you in good grief, like 10 days.
It's coming up so quickly, and I am so excited about this. I really love this opportunity to open those doors so we can start those conversations, those critical conversations. And again, I'm so humbled and honored to have been invited to be the moderator for these amazing guests.
I'm very much looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Brenda.
Thank you.
Okay.
What an amazing lineup of guests we have, Song. That is so exciting, and I can't wait for the forum next week. I think this is going to be such an amazing event, and lots of hard work from 4 associations. And yeah, I can't. That was really exciting to be a part of all that and to be inside while we recorded those interviews.
Yeah. Hey, Paul, why don't you go ahead and get your internet fixed? And are you registered, Paul? Are you registered for this forum?
Well, of course I am. I can't wait. I was Johnny on the spot waiting for registration to open.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us, and join us soon again for another episode of SMP, where we bring you the most amazing, fun, new, unique, little bit crazy things that are happening in our interpretive world. And hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. We'll see you later.
Fantastic. Register by February 5.